Hello, I'm Tom Hood. I'm the Executive Vice President of Business Engagement and Growth for the AICPA-CIMA, and part of my responsibility is CGMA in the Americas. And we're really fortunate today to have a couple of people that are trailblazing this area for us. With me is my colleague, Nora Luker, who runs our university program for CGMA, and a trailblazer and pioneer, Pat O'Meara, he's the assistant professor of accounting and finance at Niagara University, and he has started to integrate CGMA into the curriculum. And Nora and Pat are going to talk through that. Pat, thank you for being on here with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'll just bring up my screen here. If you give me 1 second here and chat a little bit about what we're doing at Niagara University. This is a new program at Niagara University, and what we've done is, well, first of all, just to recap, we have a 4-year program and a 4+1 program that allows students wanting to take accounting to move through their 4 years and then complete their MBA at Niagara University, which gives them the 150 hours that they need to write the CPA exams in the state of New York. Now, we have a number of different other programs, finance and leadership and strategic management, and of course, supply chain, etc., that we run. So this particular program can be accessed not just by accounting and finance students, but by anybody. It's strategic finance and leadership. And it brings, as you all know, a lot of skills that are required if you want to get a job and move up in your field, whether that is in owning your own business or moving up in an organization, potentially become the next chief executive officer or chief operating officer of a company, after a long period of time of work experience and, of course, annual professional development. So what is CGMA, or the Strategic Finance Leadership Program at Niagara University? Well, it's, in a nutshell, it's Accounting 682. Advanced managerial accounting. It is equivalent to the managerial section of the CGMA program. Most of our students come in at the management level because their bachelor's degree and entrance into the MBA qualifies them to be, if you will, exempt from the operational part. Now, Accounting 682 is a course that allows students to basically work through the managerial section of CGMA. And that includes your performance and project management, advanced managerial accounting, and of course, financial reporting. They do a number of different cases. They have 4 cases that they have to do, which are an amalgam. Case one is essentially performance and project management, specifically business models. Case 2 encapsulates, or I should say really cases 2 and 3 encapsulate materials from advanced managerial accounting. And another or final case is in the advanced financial reporting, which I usually focus in on earnings per share, but I'll change that up as we go. They have a number of different quizzes and things that they do as well, but that's only for about maybe 40 to 50% of the mark. The other 50% of the mark is going to be the completion of the various modules within the CGMA managerial section of the course, and that includes the business simulations for between 10 and 20% of the mark. Now, the idea is that we want students basically to complete this course without having to, and get all the requirements they need in the managerial section of CGMA without having to add another course or pay an extra fee. So what we've done is we have a course which is a MBA capstone course, which all students are required to take. However, what we've done, and again, it doesn't change the curriculum, it just adds another course that students can take. But the total number of courses they take, the total number of hours, the total fees that they have to pay remain the same. So the students now have a choice between the capstone course or advanced managerial accounting as their capstone. And if you really think about what CGMA is, it's the ultimate capstone course for people that want to work in strategic finance, leadership, and senior management positions, essentially. So that's what we're doing. We're working on this summer as a pilot project. We have 10 students that are enrolled in the CGMA program right now. And so they're all at various stages in completing the Accounting 682 in one form or other. We're hoping to make this a permanent addition to our program starting in the spring of 2022, when it'll be formally put on to the, if you will, the scheduling process so that it's permanently scheduled every year. Now, the great news then for the student is that they will have completed their management course within the CGMA by completing essentially the equivalent of a capstone course. And then what we're going to do is, well, for the strategic part of the CGMA program, we're going to have a secondary course that will essentially be a seminar course where students can come and be tutored by me, or we'll work through various parts of the material to prepare them for the third and final exam. And we think it is value added in 3 ways. One, what it does is it allows the students to complete all of the exams they need to become a chartered global management accountant in the space of their 4+1 years, or if they just do the MBA program, they can certainly do it within that space as well. So that's benefit number 1. Benefit number 2 to the employer, it means that the employers that onboard our students after they've graduated, they've reduced their, what I call, exam risk. Now you know they've completed the exam. It's just about getting the qualified experience in order to become a CGMA. And third, for the parents that are usually paying the bill, or a significant portion, they find this very, very interesting, because what it means is they're not just getting a degree. They're getting something that adds to their employability going forward. So even if they become CPAs and they never work in a management accounting function, the reality is now they will have the management accounting background, which will enhance their ability to study and complete the CPA exams. I'm a CMA, originally from Canada, and a CPA, a chartered professional accountant in Canada. So I have both. And I find many students are interested by having both, because it will provide them a broader spectrum of experiences, academic and otherwise, which they look at it as being a career enhancement in the future, essentially. So that's where we really think it allows us to branch out and add those 3 additional benefits. I'm really excited about it because, as I said, I was a management accountant at first, and a lot of managerial accounting was not necessarily in the traditional think of CPA or CADM in my day, but it was about management, strategic finance, leadership. And so there's a whole, I think, grain of people out there, in students and otherwise, that I think are interested just as much in managerial accounting, what they could do within their own field, as opposed to expanding out and becoming a CPA. Both are great. I'm both. I encourage people to do both. The more education that you have, the more opportunities that you have. I really do feel that. So that is essentially what we've done here at Niagara. Now, what we're hoping to add in the future and working with you is within my Accounting 601, which is what we call strategic accounting analysis, to integrate much of the material from the management into that course, so that non-accounting students will still have some exposure to this material. Even if they never write the CGMA exams, they have exposure to the material, so that when they're in those meetings with the accounting and the finance functions, they can talk the talk at least a little bit. And that makes them more valuable inside their organization.
Patrick, this is very exciting, and so I'm a US CPA. I was a management accountant, but didn't have the formal training. I am a CGMA. When that came along, I did do it. So I think you're exactly right. I think that's the gold standard. But to your point, employability, the employers we're working with are really excited about the CGMAs coming on board, because they are showing the demonstrated competencies that they need. And you hit on them, but the big term right now is a finance business partners, partnering inside these organizations to really help create value and not just count the numbers. So it's exciting time, and you're kind of pathfinding here in some new ways. Nora, any final questions for Pat?
This is wonderful, Pat. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to continuing our partnership with Niagara University. I want to know, tell us for a moment or two about how difficult or not it was to get the buy-in from Niagara University, senior management, president, provost, deans. When you first went to them with this, what was the reaction?
So it was very open, and one of the reasons for that is at Niagara University, faculty here have a sort of 3-part qualification that they have to meet annually, and of course to become a tenured faculty member. One is of course teaching, and quality teaching as evidenced by curriculum development and of course delivery in the classroom and student satisfaction. The second is of course research in one form or another, either peer research or research in, if you will, recognition of industry application, if you will, which is kind of an area I'm in. And the third is service to the community. So as a teaching and research university, CGMA really fell into that rubric, being able to say that what we wanted to do was provide students with value adds that allow them to get the jobs that they think they want to have in the future, and potentially the jobs that aren't even out there today. And that finance business partnership, I think, really allows them to do that. And I think the big piece of this was there was no change, there was no absolute change in the curriculum. And what I mean about that is, as I said earlier, students can either take the capstone course or they can take the strategic finance leadership course that I offer. And that way then there's value added recognized in both courses, the value added being in the capstone, a broader sort of bringing together integration of business thought and research and leadership. And within the strategic finance leadership program, accounting 682, if you will, that is bringing together professional characteristics that you need to work in the finance, the accounting sort of functions that are expected of you today. So it was a natural for everybody to look at it and say, yeah, this is low maintenance in terms of the amount of changes. It's an addition essentially of a course, a change of a curriculum sheets to let students know that they can take one or the other, not having to take both essentially. And then a recognition of how it gets integrated or how it is integrated within the materials. Because the blue, to just use the example, the blue panels, as I like to call them, the performance and project management. Many of our students have exposure to that, so they can test out in that material, which was another benefit to the student as well as to the faculty, in the sense that they're already taking a human resource course and leadership courses. So from the faculty's point of view, this was a value added benefit for the students, and minimal amount of change for the faculty, was tacking on another course and recognizing its equivalency.
Thank you. And it's also, we've discussed the skills certificates that students can get along the way. There are pre-assessments in just about 50% of the learning within this entire program. And so for students who have already prior learning assessment based on their other educational courses and or professional work, they can test out. So it is competency based that way. And we've discussed students really liking the idea of skills certificates and diplomas along the way in order to, on the way toward the CGMA designation.
That's right. And for students that don't want to complete the CGMA, that's okay. They can still get those certifications, which for many of our MBA students, where employers are actually paying for at least all or part of their MBA, this is something they can take back as evidence while they're going through the program. I've completed this certification as well. So there's some value added there as well.
Awesome. Pat, thank you very much for your time and your partnership and willing to be a pathfinder in integrating this into the curriculum. We think it's an exciting time.
Well, it's great. And I will, as soon as I get the permanent course outline approved, what I'll do is I'll send it out to Nora, and you can certainly use it as a demonstrator for other faculty that want to do this at other universities as well.
Awesome. Nora and Pat, thank you both for your time today.
All right, great. Thanks. You have a great weekend.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
You too.